What's going on, you guys? So obviously the Raiders, now that the Super Bowl is over, we can really start to look forward to the 2025 season because let's face it, the 2024 season, it was one to forget. Let's put it that way. But right now, the Raiders are in a position where it's going to be basically a complete roster do-over, which I like. But at the same time, there are a couple guys on the roster right now that should at the very least be considered to be cut. And I think that it is unfortunate. The NFL is a business. It's what it comes down to every year. But there are 4 players, Quattro, that I think could be on the chopping block this offseason for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the first one is pretty self-explanatory. Now, we have a picture here. Now, I will say that, again, I understand that from a morality aspect, you have to be very cognizant about how you put players on and you cut them. But Gardner Minshew, he's that first guy, unfortunately. And again, I love Gardner Minshew. I think that from a locker room perspective, he's done a lot of good because I think he brings a little bit of comedy, a little bit of persona to the locker room, which is great. But the Raiders are going to go draft a quarterback. Like, that's just what it is. At some point, they're going to draft a quarterback or they're going to build around Aiden O'Connell. Gardner Minshew is out the door. Like, I hate to just say it. But they would save the most money if they cut him after June 1st at $9.3 million because his current cap hit right now, according to SpotRec, is $14 million. So if they were able to do that, they would be able to save a good chunk there and potentially invest in another area on the team. Also, Thayer Munford, to me, is another player that we can move on from just because from a protection standpoint, like, it wasn't good. Like, I'm just being honest. The right tackle position has been up in flux for a while now. And yes, we've seen some good things. Jermaine Illuminar was solid back in the day. Thayer Munford was all right. Definitely a little bit under Jermaine Illuminar. But as well as, I really like what we've seen from DJ Glaze. I think there's something to build with there. And as far as Thayer Munford moving on from him, I think that, especially with how crowded it could get there, if the Raiders do indeed draft somebody, we could save $1.1 million if he's a post-June 1st cut. So that's definitely another thing I'm keeping an eye on. As well as, so Dylan Albee, the man coming up out of New Hampshire, we loved him, but let's just be honest, he could not hold on to a football to save his life. Whether it was a kickoff return, whether it was running the football, like multiple fumbles, it's unfortunate because, you do want to give a kid more than a couple of shots, but when you gave him a couple of shots and then he came out and absolutely just did not make the most of them and, in fact, hurt the team, it's just what it is. Like, it's just a business. And so I think Dylan Albee is going to be on the chopping block this offseason as well. And then finally, so Jack Jones, I love Jack Jones, and they could save $3.3 million just by being a post-June 1st cut. But let's face it, the coach that wanted you is gone, or at least the coach that really stood up for you is gone now. And Pete Carroll and company, they like a little bit of their antics, but they're not going to put up with a lot of it. And so I think Jack Jones is going to be, unfortunately, a guy that is cut. I do think he has a lot of talent, and I do think that he will find a place with another team. But let's face it, I do think, unfortunately, he will be somebody that is cut for the Las Vegas Raiders. But, those are the first 4 that come to mind. I know that there is definitely a lot more players we could look at that potentially could be cut as well. But overall, I think that, if you just look at Gardner Minshew, that's unfortunately, I think that's going to be the first move that the Raiders make. But overall, let us know what you guys think. Who else do you think could potentially be a cut candidate for the Las Vegas Raiders? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.